So, good morning, dearest friends. Welcome to the Leadership Academy, Global Leaders for Local Communities. And this is actually the last online meeting of the first session. So, and later in March and April, we will have online meetings and topic education for the second session, and May, June, this will be time for the third session. So far we keep like June meeting in our hopes, but it looks like that we are not traveling so far, but let's see how it is developing. But anyway, let's move forward and let's start traditionally with the devotion and then giving the floor to Tina.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Very happy to see all of you. And today's devotion will be devoted to angels. I want to talk with you about angels. And just give me a second. I'll try to share my screen and to open the right folder for you. Here we go. Yes, here we go. So please tell me, please, have you ever seen an angel? Does any of you have an experience of seeing an angel, knowing for sure how they look like? Do you know what they are? Do you know anything about angels? Just switch on your mic and say if you know anything.
You mean in angels of our names? Like
no, I mean just angels as creatures, as beings. Like what do we know about them? What are they? Do we know anything for sure?
For sure, probably no.
Well, usually all kids, they say, yes, we know they have wings. That's probably the only thing we know. And I wanted to share you, like there are people who probably know about angels more than we do, or more than average human being does. And they are artists, because for centuries, different artists have been painting angels in very, very different ways. So now I want to share some paintings with you. Can you see them?
Yes.
See the painting? Yes, great. So this is a painting. It's actually not a painting, it's a fresco, a painting on the wall of the church by Andrei Rublev, one of the most famous Russian icon painters. And that's the way he was seeing an angel. And yes, he has got wings. We can see it very well. And yes, and this is an angel by Botticelli, an Italian painter. And this angel is very, very different. And we can't say if it's a male or a female. It's always hard to say it about angels. They are quite strange creatures, very different from human beings, but he has wings as well. So he agrees with Rublev that angels certainly do have wings. And do we know any names of the angels? Do you know any angel names? Any idea about that? Yes, we know. Yes, certainly from the Bible, we know at least two names, Gabriel and Michael, the very famous archangels, like chief boss angels, who were sending news to people or punishing people. And this is another beautiful angel by Gustav Doré. And this is also an angel telling the women that Christ has risen. And here we come to, this is Caravaggio angel, a very different one. We can hardly see the wings, but I'm sure they are somewhere there. And here we see the angels in a very different way. They look like, you know, these funny, fat babies with big cheeks and curly blonde hair. And it's a very different image, but still they're angels too. And we can see wings here as well. And they have very different characters here. They're not bringing any good news or not punishing anybody, or they're not terrifying. They're very funny and cute, but still they're angels. And that's the way Rubens was seeing them. Another painting by Nicholas Rory, a Russian painter, and this is a very strict and I would say terrifying angel bringing fire to earth and disaster to people, probably punishing them for their sins. But it's also an angel. And here it's Bosk. Oh, sorry, it's Peter Bruegel, but pretending he's Bosk. And here angels are the most human creatures, I would say, on this painting. All others are really ridiculous and looking very strange, but here angels look the most human of all. And Olga will like this painting because this is Mark Chagall, a brilliant artist from Vitebsk, from Belarus, and it's the way he's showing the falling angel. Some more angels from Chagall, so even him was seeing them in a very different way. And here you see he's painting his women he's in love with, but he's painting her as an angel. So that's another way of seeing angels by artists. They were taking, and actually not only artists, all people were sometimes calling angels their dear ones and seeing their loved ones as angels. And probably many of you from time to time say to the people they love, you are my angel, or you are an angel for me. So angels, they're not only somewhere far away in the skies, they can also be quite human and quite close to us. And yes, some more nice angels from Raphael. They're not the key figures in this painting, but certainly they are somewhere here. And this painting, it also tells us that angels, they're always somewhere around, although we might be not seeing them, we might be not focused on them, but they're somewhere here, watching us, looking after us, looking at us, and being present somewhere around. Another strict angel by Michael Wrubel. And this is the very strange angel, which is not actually an angel, it's a seraphim. Seraphim, it's a high-level angel according to the Bible. And the only thing we know about them is that they had 6 wings, and that's it. And that they were like very important, like boss angels, and they had 6 wings. That's all we know them. And Stefan Griek, another icon painter, was painting seraphims that way, face and wings. That's all we know. But still, this is a very strong image, and it brings a lot of different feelings and emotions. And how do you think, are there any proofs of angels' existence in our life? Have you ever seen or heard or faced any proofs of angels' existence? Do you think they really exist, or is it like a fake, a fairy tale? Just please switch on your mic and say a few words if you have anything to say. Have you ever been in situations when you felt, oh yes, like angels do exist, I can feel it?
Well, I'll say then that I've never seen one, and I've never heard of someone to see one, but there are situations in life when you're just so hopeless and you think that that's it, and then something great happens and everything just solves very quickly and simple. And then is when you think that angels and miracles are real. And besides that, I think that everything humans and we can imagine and everything that we can believe in can be real and has the chance to be real.
Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you very much for sharing. And yes, you are right. Angels, they bring us hope. That's one of their main missions, I would say, to bring hope, to bring good news and to bring hope that everything will turn for better, that our problems will dissolve, that we will be saved in sometimes not in a global meaning of the world, but in the very local, everyday meaning of the world. When our car doesn't want to start, when we're missing the plane, when we can't meet with our friend, we hope that we will be saved. So angels certainly do give us hope. And this is another angel I love very much by an artist I know in person, and I even have one of her paintings at my home. And this is an angel that my daughter drew. She's 11 years old, and that's the way she's seeing angels. Angel as a beautiful woman, surprisingly, with big wings, of course. And probably Mariam will recognize this artist. Mariam, do you know her? It's Nino Chekvitadze, a Georgian artist.
Yes, actually, she's our relative. My mother.
Relative.
Yes, and
amazing.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Fantastic. I love her paintings so much, and her angels, they have small wings but big eyes, and they're very, very cute, and you see them as someone really very warm and close and caring and nice and cute. Another angel from another Russian artist, Michael Oldashin, and actually this is not a painting, this is a picture from a cartoon, a very beautiful cartoon devoted to Christmas. So some more nice angels, and some more will follow by Michael Oldashin. This is an angel who is keeping the sailors, who is looking after the sailors. So he's taking care of the good weather and of the ships and of everything. So taking care of the sailors. And this one is taking care of cats. Another nice angel by Michael Oldashin. And these are angels resting and taking care of themselves for a little while. And some artists, they think that angels are not always taking care of us, that sometimes we should be taking care of angels and should keep them safe and should like take care of them and help them. And this is the final picture I wanted to show you by Vladimir Lyubarov, who is also keeping a small angel on his hands and taking care of him. And what I wanted to tell you is that, yes, sometimes angels need our help, and the way, how can we help them? Even though we are not quite sure they exist, how can we help angels? We can help angels by making their presence visible, by making people believe that angels exist. And when our car is stuck in the snow and we can't move forward, there's always someone passing by and telling, can I help you? Maybe I'll push your car out of the snow. And if we are in trouble, there's always someone who will call us and say, hey, I haven't heard from you for quite a while. Are you okay? Do you need any help? And each of us actually can be this kind of angel helper, angel assister, making their presence in our lives visible. And today is a very, very special day, and it's great we're having our session on this day. Today is 27th of February, and it's a World NGO Day. Can you imagine? We planned this session half a year ago, and we planned it for this very, very special, significant day. It's World NGO Day today. And I think that NGOs, they are gatherings of people whose job is actually to make angels' presence in our lives visible. People get together to make some change for better, and that's actually the job that angels do. So congratulations to each and every one of you guys, because we are Angel Party. We are a group of people who are being part of our local and national NGOs, of our local and national YMCAs. We are celebrating this day together, and we are helping angels to make their presence in our lives visible and in lives of our people. Okay, thank you for your attention. That was our devotion for today. I hope you will keep the mood for the whole session and for the next days. And I give the floor to Olga.
Thank you so much, Tina. This is really beautiful. This is so inspiring. And this is amazing that the words angels and NGOs even sound the same. Yeah, thank you so much. So let's see our agenda for today. We have started devotion, and now we will do some informal warming up, so to speak, on different subjects connected a little bit with the topics. And we are going to speak about civil society organizations or NGOs, their mission and values. We are going to speak about needs assessment, and we will finish with the summary on project design. So these are three main topics for today's, and as promised, we will have breaks. We will have one big break and one or two small ones. Let's see how it goes. And we also want to remind you about our agreements. There are some technical items, so if you want to speak, you can raise your hand and speak, or you can just put your mic on. Please use the chat. Please care about the feelings and respect opinions of each other. Remember that we are all from different cultures. Please be involved and engaged, because this is the way how you receive knowledge. Be careful about the language. We always ask native speakers to be patient to us, and we apologize for lots of mistakes, but also please try to be careful, to be clear when you speak and not very speedy. Yeah, please be patient about technical stuff. We hope everything will go smooth, but sometimes it takes time. I kindly ask to introduce one more agreement. This is in green, like recording on pause option. So if you feel that our conversation is somehow sensitive and you are sharing something personal, it's quite okay to ask to put the recording on pause. Frankly speaking, we are not sharing the recording of these meetings widely because they are trainings. These are not just presentations. So we are sharing them only if some participants asks, those who were not present and those who are really interested in what's going on, and when they ask, we share them. But anyway, this option exists, so you can feel even more safe here. And you can always go to the personal learning objectives slide and recall the objectives that you put. And probably you can even add more. So please remember about this possibility. It is open for you. And now we jump to warming up, and it will be the possibility for you to speak. So you will see different boxes, and we kindly ask every person in the group to open one box and answer the question which is there. Some questions will be repeated. Some questions will be very general. Some questions will be connected with the topics of needs assessment, projects, and the mission of civil society organizations. Please be short, and let's start with one person. And when you finish, please pass the, just make a chain, yeah, and pass the floor to another person, just say a name. All right, who wants to start? Who wants to be the first? Any volunteer?
Let it be me.
Please.
Okay, let it be card number 12.
What is the best thing about your YMCA?
Okay, the best thing about my YMCA is openness to ideas. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Natalia. So pass the floor to someone.
To Miriam.
Thank you, Natalia. I'll choose one.
Nice. What unplanned things have you managed to do during the pandemics?
Well, unplanned. I started a new job, because I had a job and I lost it because pandemic, and then I didn't expect to start a new job, and it's a Belarusian company, by the way.
Congratulations. Let us know later. I'm curious what kind of company.
I'll pass to Adam.
Thank you. I would take number 22 then.
Nice.
What CSOs are you a member of? I'm a member of the YMCA, of course. Then I am a kind of member of like a Danish youth common union. Like all the CSOs in Denmark is together like one big organization, and I'm also a member of that kind of. I think that's like the main CSOs.
Thank you.
Okay, and I can see Natalia on my screen. Pass it to you.
Thank you. Number 2.
So the violation of your plans because of the pandemics. What didn't you manage to do because of the corona?
In Germany, I think a lot of children have problem because are alone at home, and this was not easy. But
And personally, what did you plan? And then because of the coronavirus, it did not happen, unfortunately.
my plan travel because I want to beg. I want to go. I want to go to beach. I need sun. Germany is very cold for me.
Miss in Colombia, I guess.
Yes. And I pass to Adam.
He just spoke. To someone else?
I cannot see the names. I cannot see the name.
Sergey is raising his hand. Sergey wants to take.
Okay.
Pass it to Sergey.
I'll try number 8.
Oh, this is the easiest.
What is the weather today in your city? It's a little bit cloudy, warm. It's like a spring, but yesterday it was shining, and warm. Today is a little bit colder and without shine. So it's
Are
very
you in Kiev or Zdolbunov?
Kiev.
Kiev.
In Kiev.
Thank you.
Yeah, can I how to say, give the name, no, the word. I'd like to hear some tulip.
Tulia, please.
Yes, thank you. Can I have number 14, please? The last action I've done about our projects has been kind of setting the date for further discussions, as we're still in our like early stages. So a staff meeting has been scheduled with the YMCA Finland staff. So that's the last step we have done. Yes, and I would like to give the turn to Ian.
Thank you. Number 11, please. It's like a game show. That's me. Ah. Aye. Oh, well, I don't know if I really enjoyed it. We watched it last night. A Rainy Day in New York. Has anybody ever seen it? It's by the same director as A Midnight in Paris. Anybody seen it? It's very similar. Oh, they're good. They're kind of like shot modern, but in like an old way with sort of speak over and stuff. It was okay.
Is it a new movie? Yes, the new release.
Possibly, I don't know. Everything's just on like Netflix and Amazon now, so it's hard to know how. But yes, I will pass it to. Let's see. Ina.
Thanks, Ian. I would like to have number 24. Who are the main target groups in your YMCA? Young people, of course. Most of the activities we have are for children and youth, but we also have some activities for adults and for old people. I'll pass the turn to Alba.
Hello. Can I have number 9, please? Sorry, I'm with my mask on.
So this is the bonus. So if someone has a question for Alba, please go ahead. You can ask any question to Alba. Living in Spain.
I have a question.
Oh, who has a question?
Yes, Adam, please.
Oh.
Yeah, I found out that paddle tennis is really big in Spain. Do you play paddle tennis, or do you know anyone else who plays paddle tennis?
My brother used to play. I tried once, but I was like not good at it, so I stopped doing it. But yeah, people really like that. So I don't know. I used to practice artistic skating, so that's my sport. I prefer that.
Thank you. Alba, please tell the name.
Sorry, I forget it. I don't know. To Olga, the other Olga. That is not you.
Okay, thank you. I will choose number 3. Difficult one.
Yes, this is a difficult one.
I would say that I would like to have probably more people there, more volunteers, and consequence more projects. Yeah.
Yeah, so more volunteers and projects for YMCA Belarus. Good to know. Thank you, Olga.
Yeah.
Tell the name.
And I'll pass. Let me see the.
Sorry?
Francesco.
Hello, good morning. I'm going with the number 5. How would you put the mission of Global YMCA? It's a big question.
This is difficult.
How would you put the mission of Global YMCA? No, it's something harder. Next. No, it's impossible to say that. No, I don't know. It's too big.
But how would you describe it? How, if you were a person who is creating the mission, what is the word that you would choose?
So if I just to choose,
If you do it, if you create it.
but I like empowering young people. I think it's very nice. It's very beautiful.
So empowering young people,
Yes,
you would keep it.
Okay, so
Perfect, thank you.
I pass to my sister Agnese.
Okay, I'll choose number 4. Say what would you show us first?
This is easy.
Okay. No, it's not so easy because I don't know what I would show you first.
You're living in Rome.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe not the Colosseum, not St. Peter's, maybe something more original, like Trastevere, which is a neighbor in Rome, which is very nice. So yeah, I think that. And I'll pass to who's left? Matthew.
I will go for my favorite number 10.
You're lucky.
You ask a question to anyone in the group. Okay. I am going to ask Jasmine. I see you've colored your hair. Why did you pick that color?
It is supposed to be green. It didn't go correct, so it is now blue for the time being. I don't get a choice in that. So yeah.
Okay. And I'll just hand over to you, Jasmine.
Okay.
Thank you, awesome answer.
I'll go with number 7. I would probably say the youth groups that we run, or that we used to run before COVID, that is. We had so many youth groups up and running, and we were getting more out. So I'd probably say it was the youth groups for us.
Could you remind the city you are in, please?
Yeah, so I'm in Norfolk in England and Wales, YMCA.
Thank you.
I'll pick Nikos.
Thank you, Jasmine. I would pick number 13. All right, it's the same question as Adam.
Yeah, there are some questions which are repeated.
I'm only member of the YMCA Athens, from what I can think of. So yeah, that's it. And I pass it to Peter.
Okay. I would like number 17. Yes, actually, Adam and I found out that there was another national and bigger organization made a project like that was exactly the same as ours, but already being executed this spring. So we applied for that and we joined. So now, actually, the thing we are doing, the last thing we done to our project was to join another project and see how they're doing it, so we can steal all the ideas.
Oh wow, what a surprise. Please keep us updated.
Yes, and I would like to pass it on to Mia.
Thank you. I will go with number 20, please. What are the main values of your YMCA? Well, I think like many of the values come from like Christian background, so like helping others and valuing all members and all people equally. Maybe that would be the ones. This is quite a difficult question.
Yeah, but this is interesting also what is coming up first in your mind, like you recalled Christian and equality.
Yeah, Christian values are pretty good values usually. Okay, and for next one, I will go with, let's see.
Gwen was silent so far.
Yeah, Gwen.
Thank you. I'll go with number 25. I would go home. I would go home. I would go see my friends and my family. I would go home. Sorry.
What city do you live in France?
Oh, I live in the countryside. It's not a city. No one knows it. But I live close to the Switzerland border.
Uh-huh.
So it's quite cold actually at the moment over there.
So enjoy Malta. Enjoy Malta. So far.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Gwen.
I will pass it on to Martina. I think you didn't speak.
Yes, thank you. So I choose number 6.
Oh, Martina. I guess I'm sure you implemented a lot, but name at least one.
Oh yeah, we are working a lot with the questionnaires, let's say like that. Yeah. So, and I pass the floor to somebody new in this group, and it's Kie.
Yeah, and this is a great opportunity to introduce Kie. He will tell about himself later when he will present, but this is outstanding expert in different topics, but today we invited Kie for the needs assessment. Kie, are you with us? Probably not. Okay, so Martina, please pass to someone else.
Yes, I just need to check who was still not speaking.
I think that please give a sign, because I think that most of us had spoken. Yeah. So Tina and me are left.
So
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so Tina, please.
Okay, I will take 16. Main values of our YMCA. I was actually thinking about that when this question raised for the first time. I think the main value for our local YMCA in Moscow is respect.
Thank you. Are you giving the floor to me?
Yes, sure.
So let me open number 15. How would you describe the mission of your YMCA? And this is interesting because if to speak about YMCA Europe, the organization I'm working in, like it starts with the words, this is a fellowship. And I think that this is pretty good word and pretty right word for the work that we are doing, because this is the fellowship, this is a space for bringing synergy, this is a space for strengthening impact and organizations themselves by fellowship and synergy. Thank you. Did we give the floor to everyone? Thank you so much. Please show how you feel. Did you enjoy the task? Did you enjoy conversation with each other? Please give a sign, use reactions, or yeah, thanks a lot. So the question to you now, this is the time for us to go to the next big session about the mission and values, but probably we need an energizer first. So, Matthew, do you think we can provide a short energizer before we go to the big session? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So my energizer is going to keep us in front of our computers, our phones and stuff. But it's going to also kind of continue along the lines of getting to know each other a little bit more and passing information around. So we all are involved in young people in some form, and I'm sure we all enjoy having fun. So when I was a child, I played I Spy with my little eye with everyone and everything. So we're going to play that today. But we're obviously going to do the Zoom version. So this will be interesting to see how this goes. So what I would like for people to do is, if you don't know how to play I Spy with my little eye, you simply just say that sentence, and then you pick something in the room around you, and you say the first letter. So I spy with my little eye something beginning with L, and then you go and have to find something beginning with L. But because we are on Zoom and we're all over Europe, we're going to find something in each other's little Zoom boxes. So you're going to need to really look at each other and really look at each other's backgrounds and try find that object. So for example, I know this, so I've already had a bit of an insight. So example, I spy with my little eye something beginning with E, and I would look around and I would go, I see Tulia is wearing earrings. E for earrings. Okay, so something like that. All right, make sense? Amazing. Okay, so how about I'll go first and then we'll try find something. You've got the pen feature. So if you want to really look at somebody, you can pen them to your screen. So that will enlarge it, but you can also use the gallery view. So the first one, I spy with my little eye something beginning with H. Now, if you think you know it, you can just quickly shout it out and you get a point. So I spy with my little eye something beginning with H. Have a look around and see who's going to be first.
Probably headphones.
Yes, well done. Who did you find the headphones on?
Adam.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was looking at Adam. Well done, Natalie. So you go next.
Okay, I spy with my little eye something that starts with the letter G.
Yeah, just shout out.
Yeah, I would say the word globe.
Yeah.
In Natalia's picture frame.
Well done. I didn't even notice that. Okay, Natalia.
The nicknames with letter P.
P.
A plant on Francesco's screen.
Yes.
That's very quick.
That's the one I wanted to say.
The easiest.
Francesco.
So I blah blah blah. Don't remember the words with my eyes, blue eyes. Something with the letters. S.
S.
Could it be sofa?
Scarf? Scarf?
Could it be stereo?
Oh, a difficult one.
A shelf.
Oh, a shelf. No.
C.
Yes.
Your hand was a big clue.
Is that from me?
Yep.
All right. Okay. Don't even notice. Okay, Alba.
You want me to do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I spy with my little eye a word that starts with the letter F.
A frame.
Nope.
Flowers?
Yes.
Very good. Where are the flowers?
Olga has got flowers.
Ah, that's so good. I'm really bad at this game. Tina.
Okay. I spy
Okay.
was.
Oh, who is it? Sorry.
Who's doing that?
Who guessed it? I thought it was Tina.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Okay. On you go.
I spy with my little eye something that starts with C.
C.
Curtains? No.
Is it a couch?
Is it curtains?
No.
I guess
A
everyone
cactus.
has it, but I can see it only on one screen.
A chair.
Clock.
Computer.
No.
Is it chair?
Chair. Yes, it's a chair. I can see it on Martina's screen.
Yes. Well done.
Yes, thank you.
And you go.
I notice myself, so. Okay, so I spy with my little eye something what begins on E. I hope it's, it's correct.
Is it eagle?
Yes,
On Ian's frame?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done. Okay. Nikos, do you want to go?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let me take a look. I can't really. Okay. I spy with my little eye. Or that starts with B.
B.
A book.
Yeah, I mean, Martina's frame is full of it. And also I couldn't think any specific one.
Okay. We'll go for maybe 2 more rounds and then we can move on. So go in.
I spy with my little eye something that starts with D.
D.
Door.
Yep.
Oh, that was quick. Well done. Okay, last round. Who guessed it? Sorry, I missed it.
Mariam.
Mariam. Okay, so Mariam, you get to pick.
Okay, thanks. I spy with my little eye something that starts with P.
with P for Papa.
Pillow.
No.
Poster.
Yes. Poster. Because
Well done.
background.
Nikas, oh yes, you've got Cannibal Corpse. You should sing us a song,
Yeah.
Nikas, as part of the next Energizer.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Okay, well done. Nice and simple game, and we can all now see each other and know what we're at. So thank you. I think I hand back over, no, actually, to Tina.
Okay, thank you, friends. So today, half of our session will be devoted to mission and values. And we'll now start talking about it. But before we begin, I wanted to ask you, who of you has passed through the STEPIC lessons devoted to mission? And if you have, please wave your hands so I know who I can rely on. Thank you very much for those who have done it. And we will touch a few topics that we touched there, and so it will make things much easier for you. Well done. And I'm going to share my screen and show a small presentation. Just a moment. Just a second. Yes, here we go. Mission and values in NGOs. Can you see the screen? Can you see the presentation? Yes, great. Okay.
Yes.
So one of the first questions in our STEPIC lessons devoted to mission and values and civil society organizations was, how would you call these kind of organizations in your countries and in your communities? And most of you said that in your countries they're called NGOs, which means non-governmental organizations, or CSOs, which are civil society organizations, or charities. I guess that's how they call it in Britain, right? Charities for NGOs and CSOs. And today we'll talk about mission and values, but let's start with values. Okay, and there was one more question. If you need to explain what a civil society organization is to a 10-year-old kid, how would you do it? And there were many brilliant examples. And once again, thank you very much for sharing your opinions and for doing this exercise. But there were many things in common and all different words that you were sharing. And the main common things were that this is a group of people. They get together to help someone or somebody or some other group of people, or maybe not even people, to help nature, to help animals, but word help was one of the key words in your explanations. And then there was a word change, which is also a very important one when we're talking about NGOs and civil society organizations. So group of people help change. No matter how formal or right explanations we use and what is written in different dictionaries or encyclopedias, you have very correctly pointed main terms, main words, what it is all about. So it's about group of people, because if one person does something good to someone else, it's not an organization, it's not an NGO. It's about help and about change. And very briefly, I would like to remind you, especially to those of you who haven't passed the lessons on STEPIC, that usually we speak about 3 sectors of society, 3 areas in society. Some people define 4, but the basic model shows us 3 sectors of society, which are government, and it's everything about the state, and it's aimed at control. So all government institutions, all ways the societies are actually ruled and governed, all state-controlled schools, medicine, institutions, everything. This is about governmental structures and control. Then there is business, which is aimed certainly at profit. So if business doesn't bring profit, it's not business, right? So business, it's all kinds of companies and groups of people that get together to do something to get money. This is quite clear, I guess. And then there's so-called third sector. I don't know how it's in other countries and in other languages, but in Russia, like the third sector is actually a more common term than an NGO. So it's really very, very widely used. Everybody would say, like in the third sector, today's news of the third sector did this, the third sector did that. So third sector is kind of synonym to an NGO. And third sector, it's us, it's NGOs, CSOs, charities that get together to make some social change. So the aim of the NGO is social change, and it's based on values. That's why sometimes NGOs or civil society organizations, they are called value-based organizations. It's another way of calling them. And we have a brilliant example of YMCA of the USA that so many years ago have identified their key values of their organization. And they are the following: caring, respect, responsibility, and honesty. And sometimes through years, they're adding something there. I know some organizations in the USA that add faith there, or inclusion, or 2 or 3 more. But these 4 values, they are basic: respect, responsibility, honesty, and caring. And even through the design of these posters, you can see that they really went through years with the YMCA of the USA. So the left poster is a really old-fashioned one and made many years ago. The one in the center is the newest one after they had the rebranding a few years ago, but the values are still there. They are the very, very basic things the YMCA of the USA is really based on. And I think this is quite a unique example when an organization, a civil society organization, shows their values so well, so clear, so understandable to the people they're working with. And so here comes the next question. So how do you think, is it important for organizations to have a clear and understandable list of values? This is a question to you guys, and we will have a lot of interactive activities today. So please don't hesitate to switch on your mics and say if you wish to say something. So I'll repeat the question once again. How do you think, do organizations, civil society organizations, NGOs, organizations working with people and communities, do you think it's important for them to have a very clear list of values? So please speak up if you have something to say.
I'll go then. Well, I think that it is very important because these organizations work for people, and these people need to know for what these organizations stand, to join them or be their beneficiaries or something like that. Well, I don't know how clear I said my thoughts, but I think that yes, it's very important to state the values they value, because people need to know what are those organizations thinking and standing for.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Any other?
Yes,
I
agree with Miriam completely, but I would add also that values are for the organization as well, so that when they plan or do something, they can kind of refer back to the values and see if the values are met in the project, for example.
Thank you very much. Yes, I totally agree with you that values, it's a basic thing for value-based organizations, but unfortunately, quite often we call ourselves a value-based organization, but we don't have a clear vision of what these values are. They are like we stand for all good against everything bad. Like that's a very general situation, unfortunately. And it's important to identify these values to make them clear, because this is what actually unites people. This is why people come to us. That's why they become members. That's why they come to participate in our programs, because they feel that they have same values. They feel this common values. And so here comes the next question. Do your YMCAs, do they really have a clear list of values? And it's good we had this question twice in this first exercise we had today. Thank you, Olga, very much. So now I want to ask this question to everybody. Do your YMCAs, they have actually a clear list of values your organizations are based on and are working like on the base of? So please share, both if yes or if no. It's important for us to share our background and our situations.
I think that here in Spain, we have a list of values because, for example, in the camps, we have like a day that we celebrate the values of the YMCA. So we try to teach these kids that are in the camp the values we have. And also, for example, here in Inca Zaragoza, we have a poster, a big poster. Well, sorry, YMCA Zaragoza, we say Inca. That's sorry. Mm-hmm. So we have a big poster and it's like a spiral, you say, and it's the values of the YMCA that we work in here, like leadership, volunteering, cooperation, I don't know, things like that. I don't know all of them by heart, sorry.
Okay, thank you very much, Alba. Anybody else? How is it in your organizations?
In our organization, in YMCA Roma, we have 5 fundamental values, which are freedom, community, participation, caring, and
I don't remember.
Yeah, I asked Francesco, but he didn't remember too. But we have 5 fundamental values, which are freedom, community, participation, caring, and the 5th one that right now I don't.
Quality?
No.
No.
But yeah, we have the 5th one also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for sharing. Anybody else?
Yeah, the YMCA of Turku has 5 values listed on their website. I did not know them by heart, so I had to cheat a little. And these values are the advancement of well-being, justice, mercifulness or kind of grace, then quality and community. And these are kind of the values all in their programs and projects and activities.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. And Ian was ready to share. Ian, please go ahead.
Yes, in our YMCA, we have belong, contribute, and thrive, which is possibly borrowed from some other larger values of YMCAs, maybe. But I really like it, and it's one of those things that those values you can really see embedded into the work that we do, and it covers all the important parts. But it's only 3, so it's less to remember than 5, so it's easier to remember.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. And actually, Ian has mentioned a very important point, that if we say Google values of civil society organizations, we get a list of hundreds, and we cannot say that we neglect any of them. Yes, if we stand for respect and honesty, it doesn't mean that we neglect, I don't know, inclusion and freedom or any other, but it's very important to prioritize, to identify 3, 4, 5 basic values that we are really standing on, because it doesn't mean that all the others, they do not exist for us, but it means that our mission, which is our next point, that our mission is based on these things that we identify as main for us. So thank you very much, everyone who has shared now. And now I will ask everyone, including all the others, please, name 3 main values of your YMCAs. How do you see them? If you have them listed, that's great, just put them down. If you haven't if you don't have them like listed anywhere in any document or paper, or you have never discussed it within your YMCs, please write, how do you feel? How do you feel? What's main for your YMCs? What values are your YMCs based on? 3 main values. Please write them in the chat. Yes, Nia, thank you for writing the organization as well. That would be great if you write the name of your YMCA and then the list of values.
Yeah, sorry, I accidentally pressed enter, but this is for like YMCA Finland, so the roof organization.
Thank you very much. Being open for all, safety and internationality. That's interesting, by the way.
Yeah, there's total like 6 values, but these were like the 3 I found most valuable.
Honesty, responsibility, respect for YMCA Ukraine, for YMCA Rome, participation, freedom, inclusion. Belong, contribute, thrive. YMCA Spain, leadership, volunteering, honesty, transformation, innovation, independency, and respect. Respect, responsibility, caring, honesty, like in YMCA of the USA. Promoting development of personality, I wouldn't call it a value. I think it's part of the mission. Healthy lifestyle, yes, it may be taken as a value. Natalia, thank you for sharing. Yes, it's important to identify the values because a lot of things are really based on them. Independency, honesty, caring, empowerment, inclusion. Great, please continue writing and we will go on, but take a few moments to put down the basic values because it's really very inspiring to read that. And on the other hand, it's very interesting because you see, on the one hand, they are all like about the same thing. They are all about being open to people and giving a reply to social need and to social request and being caring and so on. But on the other hand, by reading these basic values, you can see the face of the organization. You can identify its uniqueness and you can see that all the YMCAs, they are being the same in a way, they're very different in the other way. Thank you very much for sharing. Hope-filled, inspiring, empowering. That's great. I would take all these words as synonyms, but it's great you have listed them all. And it's really very inspiring. Opportunities for action, community, and courage. Okay, thank you very much. Please continue writing. We will continue having a look at it later, and let's move forward. So mission. As we all know, mission is based on values. Mission doesn't exist by itself. We can create any kind of mission, but it's important that it's based on values. And when those who are doing the exercise on static platform put beautiful metaphors for the idea of a mission. I like all of them so much. And there are 3 very bright metaphors that are compass, mission as a compass, showing the way, mission as a map, when you know where you start and you know where you are heading to, you know where you need to get, but you don't really quite know the way how you would get there. And there are very many paths and roads and ways how to get from A to B, from starting point to the finishing point. And then there was a beautiful image of a polar star that actually shows the way and helps you to identify where you are. So thank you very much for these beautiful images, for these beautiful metaphors. I like them all so much, and they're all very, very informative, really showing the essence of what mission is. That's absolutely right. Mission is not a goal. Mission is not something we can really complete, fulfill, achieve. Mission is something that is showing us the way. And if you ask me for a metaphor, I would say that mission is like a lighthouse, that it lightens some part of the way. It gives us light, and we go within this light. And if we step out, we find ourselves in the darkness. So we need to step back in this light to go the right way. Mission is giving us the direction, and sometimes when and mission is something we need to look at from time to time and to see, like, are we still within the light? Are we still going the right way? Are we still within this path on the map? Are we still going where our compass is showing us to? So it's an important, having a clear mission is an important, actually it's an important instrument to help ourselves identify whether we are going the right way. Because sometimes we find we are not going the right way, and it's an important sign for us to step back a little bit, to review what we were doing wrong, and to get back to the path. Okay, before we go to Paris bases, those who were working on STAPIC, you probably remember that there was a task when you were asked to identify the missions of the world famous businesses. Do you remember that? There were missions of Facebook and BBC and Nike and some other world famous companies. Do you remember that? Was it easy or difficult to do this task? Come on, guys, those who did it, was it easy or difficult for you?
I think it was quite easy.
I totally agree with you, Nia. Thank you. I think this was a very, very easy task, because actually businesses are really great at putting their missions. They did a great job and made very clear missions that helped us to identify them like very, very easily. It was not a difficult task because they really did a great job. And we couldn't mix up actually, I don't know, BBC with L'Oreal. It was very simple and easy. But when we are coming to NGOs, to civil society organizations, it's much tougher task, because actually they all stand for all good against all bad. That's why it's so important for us to make our mission very clear and to make it based on values that we really stand on, that are not just beautiful words, but which are really the essence of what we are doing. So please have a look at Paris bases. As you know, this is the first mission of World YMCA, and we touched it on our previous session, and you also had it on STAPIC, and it was approved, accepted on the first World YMCA Council in, if I'm not mistaken, in 1855. And so it says that the Young Men's Christian Associations seek to unite those young men who, regarding Jesus Christ as their God and Savior, according to the Holy Scriptures, desire to be his disciples in their faith and in their life, and to associate their efforts for the extension of his kingdom amongst young people. Any differences of opinion on other subjects, however important in themselves, shall not interfere with the harmonious relations of the constituent members and associates of the World Alliance. So I have a question to you, friends. How do you think, which values is this mission of World YMCA accepted 150 years ago, 170 years ago, is based on. So what are the main values that this mission, Paris Basis, is based on? Please write it in the chat. How do you think? And I really look forward to seeing your answers. Equality, devotion, Christianity, harmony, equality among Christians, respect, openness, unity, Thank you very much for sharing. And we can see that although this mission sounds quite old-fashioned, out of time for us, the values, they are all still there. Respect, equality, unity, openness, they're all still there. We can put it in some other words. We can put it more modern way. We can put it the way that young people accept it, but the values, the basic values are still there. And it's important to identify them so that mission is not just beautiful words, that we can see what it is based on, what's in the essence of it. Very well, let's move forward. And you remember, once again, I'm running back to the static lesson. We were discussing that a good mission should be clear, concise, memorable, and unique. And that's all those examples of the missions of different businesses. I guess all of them were following this restrictions. Yes, were clear and memorable and unique and quite short, so that we can understand them. It's really important, although it's not always like that. And when we are studying the missions of different national and local YMCAs, sometimes we see lots of words, sometimes not very understandable words, not very clear message, not very clear idea, and then they look like mission of like any NGO in the world. So there's no uniqueness in it. That's why it's important when formulating a mission, remember this criteria to make it really fitting and suiting your organization. So now we will have an interactive task. We will unite in 5 groups, and you will have, I don't know, 7-10 minutes to put down a mission of an organization that may sound quite strange to you. And later on, when we finish this exercise, I will tell you which of these organizations are really existing and which are fake ones, which are imaginable. So the first organization is Association Against Alien Abduction. So kidnapping by aliens, when people are being stolen by aliens. The second one is Cows Libertation Fund, and they want all cows in the world to be free. Then there's Organization of the Flat Earth Advocates. So these are people who believe that Earth is flat, that it's not like a ball, but it's absolutely flat, and they want everybody to believe in that. The fourth one is foundation for the support of reproductive health of mice and rats. And the fifth one is roundabout appreciation society. Does everybody knows what is a roundabout? Roundabout is when roads cross, there's usually a crossing, like when there are traffic lights and you need to wait for the other cars to pass by. And roundabout is when there's a circle in the center and there are usually no traffic lights. You just let the cars in the center go, and then you follow. Did you get it? Is it clear now? Yes, I know that probably some people know very well what a roundabout is. So there's 5 organizations, and now we'll get in 5 groups, and each of the groups will get the number of the group is the number of your organization. So please take 5 minutes in your small groups to create a mission of this fake or real organization. Olga, are we ready to split?
Yes, I just want to show the screen that you can use in the Jamboard. Yeah, please. I just put the link to the Jamboard. Yeah, so you can use this template, and as always, you can put a sticker and write the mission nearby. Yes, so this is a space where you can work in your group.
Thank you very much. So the link to the Jamboard is in the chat. Please open it right now so each of you has it. Open it so that you can always get back to the name of your organization. Now we will get in 5 groups, and the number of your group is the number of your organization. And we will get back in 5 to 7 minutes, hopefully with the missions of these organizations.
If you are ready, I will go with the rooms.
Okay, friends, welcome back. Hope you had fun. Wave your hand if you had fun.
Yes.
Great. So let's see what we have. And I see that some of you had made a sticker and some haven't, but that's not a problem. And let's start with Cows Liberation Fund. So I give the floor to you. Please say a few words about the mission of your organization. Thank you, Olga.
Yeah, that was my group. So we have the Cows Liberation Fund, and our mission is to create activities and communities where people work together so that all cows have the possibility to have a fair and free life.
This is fantastic. Thank you. I love it.
So this is definitely like short, clear, and precise.
It's interesting that it's aimed at people, not at cows. But yeah, that's a great angle. Thank you. And you started mentioning your core values, right?
Yes, because we wanted to make it clear that we believe that cows and humans have to have the exact same amount of equality.
This is great. Yes, because actually, of course, when we from the blank page, from the very beginning, when we create an organization and we need to make a mission, we certainly start with values. We make a list of values, we choose the core values, and then we put a mission based on this core values. So that's a very important step. Thank you for remembering about it. And how do you think, is this a true organization or a fake one? Does it exist?
If not, if it's not a true one, we will create it. We are very strongly about this organization.
Great, but actually this one, yeah, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, but you are halfway on creating it. You have values and missions, so there's just one step left to create it. Thank you very much. Let's go to the next group, Association Against Alien Abduction. So how about your mission?
We also went with naming the values first. So it was trust, caring, and safety. And the mission looks like this: to protect human life, guarantee safety for all on Earth, and raise awareness about alien kidnapping, provide mental health care services for people in need. So it's after kidnapping, providing mental health care services. And about the trust, Sergey raised this, the value trust comes with the raising awareness about alien kidnapping. So Sergey came with this idea and said that people need to be trusted when they say that they were kidnapped by alien, or they're just afraid to be kidnapped by alien, and we have to raise awareness as an organization who protects these people. We have to raise awareness that this is real and this might happen, and so that these people have to be trusted. Yes.
Thank you very much. Great job, and it's great that you were thinking about different aspects of it. Before kidnapping, during kidnapping, after kidnapping. That's a very great vision, how it should be, a very general view. Thank you very much. Yes, Olga, go ahead.
Yeah, just a small comment. As we are learning, just I want to highlight that it is written for all on Earth, and sometimes for non-governmental organization, this is quite a typical feature, yet, to describe that you are existing for all on Earth, which is then can create difficulties with with organizing programs, because this is like too much. So when you are discussing the missions of your real organizations, try to be more specific, please.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And without Googling, can you say, how do you think, does this organization exist or not?
Yes, we all thought that this organization is real.
Yes, excuse me, can you say it again?
We all thought that this organization is real.
That's true. You're absolutely right. This organization is real. It really exists. I don't know what mission it has, but if it's different from yours, I would suggest them to take your variant, because it's brilliant. Okay, great. Let's move forward. And the next one is our Organization of the Flat Earth Advocates.
I can say that one. It was Agnese and Nia and I. And our mission is to make a community for people wanting to make people realize the fact that the Earth is flat, and to support and educate these enlightened advocates.
You read it once again.
And that basically is our mission.
Yeah, I think that like the first part is super clear, like that you want people to realize that the fact is the Earth is flat, and that's it. And this is and then like to support and educate, probably just these shouldn't be part of the mission, because these are ways, sounds like ways of how you're going to reach the mission. So if to talk about like if to talk about a real situation, that I would suggest to amend the second part and to keep on the first one. Great job, thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Thank you guys for your job. And how do you think does this organization exist?
I think unfortunately, yes.
Yes, and you are absolutely right. It does exist, and it has this very name. And I don't know what they're aimed at, but yeah, probably you got the clue. You got the essence of the mission. Thank you very much for your job. And let's continue with Foundation for Support of Reproductive Health of Mice and Rats. Was working in this group?
Yeah, I can tell you about it. So our mission statement is to free the mice and rats held in captivity for experimental reasons that are denied the right to make their own choices for their reproductive systems. That's our mission.
Sounds great, but I have a question. Does it really correspond with the name of the organization? I think if you created an organization based on this mission, it would be something like Freedom for Mice and Rats or Free Choice for Mice and Rats.
It's because we thought of the rats in labs, the mice and rats in labs, and due to, first of all, many are like inseminated by force, so they don't get to choose when they have babies, and due to experimentations, then some become fertile and cannot have babies. So that's why we took that direction.
So you have a focus on the free choice in the reproductive activities. Okay, thank you very much. Do you think this organization exists?
We thought it might, actually.
Well, if it does, I don't know anything about it. This is the one I imagined. Maybe it exists, but we don't know. Okay, thank you very much for your job. And the final one is Roundabout Appreciation Society. How about your mission? I love it. Who's gonna speak about it?
I don't mind sharing. I'm trying to find my. No one else wants to. Anybody else want to share for us?
Can you name it, please? Can you read the mission?
Yes, the mission is, well, we'll come up with something along the lines of to promote the inclusion and diversity and enjoyment of all roundabouts everywhere.
I love it.
I think this is real.
Yes, it's a real organization, and you have a brilliant mission for it. I just love it. Inclusion and diversity, and we can really see what values it's based on, and it's really connected with the essence of the organization. I love your job. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it, and it was kind of a fun exercise for you to practice in creating missions and seeing like what's main in it, how it should be formulated, and remember that it should be short, understandable. It should be based on values, and it should represent the essence of your organization. And now we move forward to the next exercise, which will be a little bit more serious, and it's called Agree and Disagree. So we will now name the statement, and on each statement we will ask you to give a couple of examples how you understand it, so that we make sure that everybody understands it well and right. And so you will have your name stickers, right?
Yes. So please go by this link and choose the color of a sticker and put it somewhere so you can see the example.
The link is in the chat, so please follow this link. Yes, and yeah, thank you, Adam and Nia. Please make your stickers, put them somewhere around.
As they also have difficulties with the program, please let us know. We can help you.
if for some reason you cannot use Jamboard or you have some problems with it, please write directly to any of the team and we will help you. We have two Agnes. How does it work? Okay. Great. Just place it anywhere around, and I will tell you a statement, something regarding values and mission and the topic of our discussion, and I will ask you to place your sticker either on the side agree or on the side disagree, and then we will have some time for discussion. So if you have something to say about it, if you feel you need to express your opinion on this topic, we will certainly give you the floor. So do we have everybody here? Is everybody ready? Great, very well. So, are you ready for the first statement? Great. So, statement number 1, please be very attentive. People need to share the values of the organization to be members of it. Once again, it's important to share the values of organization you are a member of. Do you agree with that or disagree? Is it always important to share the values of organization you are a member of? Okay, does it mean that everybody agrees? Is there anyone who disagrees?
I need to create a sticker.
Me as well, by the way. Okay, interesting. So if, thank you, Olga. You can create another one and call it Tina, please. Okay, if there's anyone who would like to say something to prove or your position, please do so. Just switch on the mic and speak if you have something. Why do you think it's so important to share the values of organization to be a member of it?
I can say a few words. It's to me is to share the values of organization. It must be because for people very important, because you will never be a member in that circle of people or society if you are not agree with them, if you are not looking like them, yes, to be the same principles and values in this small community. You will never be a member like a true member, yes, which help, which can be disagree with some opinion, but he will find consensus for this, and this is for me a members and we share values in a small society, because you cannot get a consensus if you not have a patient, for example, or tolerant to someone's opinion, and how you could be a member of this small group of people if you always will be disagree, if you always will be disappointed of some of them or something else. That for me will be very important when people want to be a member, a true member, not like for one program or for one deal, for example. Yes, it's for me it's not a members, it's like a volunteers. But if you are a member, you must share the values.
Thank you very much for your opinion, but imagine that I'm a member of YMCA of the USA and I come 2 times a week to swim in the swimming pool or to exercise in the gym. Do I really need to share all the values that they express and that they post?
you may share them, but you cannot use them. For example, like you say, swimming in the pool, but you know that it's for health, for example, that it is a good sport, for example, for someone. You cannot do this. You cannot even you cannot swim, yes, at all. So you don't know how is it, but it's a good value, for example, and it's help for people or for your kids, for example, but you cannot be a swimmer at all. But you share this value, you know, like tolerant and respectable to this value, so that it is good value, not it's smoke it's in the morning before breakfast, for example, like value of some of organization. And they even find people which share this value, but not for all people can be a member of that organization.
Okay, thank you very much for your opinion. Olga, will you say us a few words? I'm really curious to hear your position.
Yes, so just to, I'm taking YMCA as an example. YMCA is working with young people, and quite often young people are just coming for fun there. And for me, this is important that YMCA is a space where the values are actually shaped, formed, promoted. So I think that this is not so, how to say, this statement is not so clear. Of course, I understand like the opinions and why you agree about it, but I'm also sure that civil society organizations are shaping and promoting values quite much as well. And this is their function and role.
Yes, I totally agree. Jess, you.
Sorry, Tina.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I also, of course, in the ideal world, every member of the organization will share the values of the organizations. But I also have to say that there are many YMCAs, as Tina mentioned, which are working for the people, and especially vulnerable people in the society. For example, in Palestine, there are YMCAs which are working for Muslim minority or majority in that country, but also in Kosovo and Albania, there are many Muslims in the YMCA. Do they have to be turned Christians to be the members of the YMCA? It's not happening, and it's not how it is. So in fact, I also say it very open. In the ideal world, it will be always right, but it's not. And very often there are many members who don't have to share all the values of the YMCA. Yes, I agree, they have to tolerate it. This is of course quite important.
Yes, thank you very much, Martina, and I totally agree with you. Okay, let's move to next statement, and it sounds the following way. If reaching goals requires slight violation of values of the organization, yes, thank you, Olga, it's possible to do so for the sake of good results. Let's make sure that everybody understands the statement. So can you guys give any example of how this situation could happen? Do you have any ideas, like of any practical situation how this can happen? That you have an option of making a great project, but to make it really great, or to get money for it, or to make it to attract people, you need to slightly violate your values. Like forget about just one of them or two of them to make this great project happen.
Well,
Does anybody, can anybody give an example? It shouldn't be real, just an imaginable example of this situation.
I could try.
Yes, please.
something I understand some of it. Like say for example, like one of your values was inclusion, and for whatever reason, whether to do with, and I think oftentimes if there is a deviation from values, it's oftentimes connected to funding or money, or groups that provide funding or money. And say, for example, there was a source of funding that in some way sort of deviated from your value of inclusion, where certain groups were not able to engage for whatever reason, and you went along with that just to get funding or just to deliver a project, then I think that is probably ill-advised. You started going after something that is not one of your values. Like you said, in the business, one of their missions or aim is to be profitable or to make money, but as a NGO, one of your missions shouldn't be to be profitable or to make money type thing.
Can I give you an example, not concerning the money, which is coming from me? But yeah, for example, very real situation. We have been discussing a few years ago if we can have the Leadership Academy training in Moldova. And why I am raising this? It was a girl, we had a participant from Kosovo who couldn't go to Moldova because Moldova didn't recognize Kosovo, and they didn't recognize Kosovo passport. It means that if we do the training in Kosovo, in Moldova, it means that the Kosovo girl participants cannot go there for sure. So this was for us, it was the matter of the principles. We are also aiming to give opportunity to all countries to participate in our session. And if we do it in one country, this will be violated. So this was our discussion, which we had, and this was very relevant discussion, like what to do if we violate the equal opportunities for all, or we move training out of Moldova.
Don't tell so far what we decided.
Yeah, but there were some more reasons, but I think that the dilemma is very clear.
Yeah, very good example, yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, Martina. Brilliant example. So, friends, I would like to give the floor to those who think that this is, in some cases, this is possible. Peter, Olga, Alba, or Sergey. Preferably those of you who haven't spoken yet, please. Why do you think this is possible? Why are you staying on the agree side? Okay. Olga, Alba, can you say a few words?
Alba.
Okay, so I think that the values are important for the association, but if you need, like, I don't know, leadership, in my case, for example, leadership is one of our values. If one of the things that we're gonna do is not exactly about leadership, or we are not working leadership, or we are not taking into account the ideas of the young people that are taking part of the leadership program, for example, here in Spain, it's not gonna be the end of the association. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. So that's it.
Thank you very much. Sergey, how about you? You think that this is possible to slightly violate the values if it's done in for the sake of a great project? Why do you think so?
I say that agree, but it's a situational question. Yes, not all violation or value, no, not all values can be required, but sometimes in when you want to organize some project and not all people can share your values, and it's I'm talking about government or some civil organization in the town where you want, or country you want to organize, like Martina says, yes, when one passport is not allowed in another country, so you can, for reaching goal, you can require slight violation and of values, and but it's like a small life for a big good result, for example. But it's I want to repeat that it's situationally. Not all values can be requires. For example, yes, if it's possible, if it's like a small evil for a good big result, for big help for some needs for people, it could be like on a war, you know, you send some warriors to that hill, and you know that they die, but if you get this hill, you will save more big number of people. So as for me, I'm looking on this problem in that way.
Okay, thank you for your opinion. And anyone from the disagree part, those guys who haven't spoken yet, can you say a few words why you are there?
I may say I'm here in the middle, but I would say that for me it also depends how active that member is. If it's an active member who staying in YMCA, let's say he's like a representative of values. So, and is it other side when person just come for some events? In that case, yeah, she wouldn't present all values, but if person actively participate and represent value of organization, probably he or she may like be not so strict in values, but still like, be in that side to agree. But,
I see,
yes.
but I think this is more about the previous question, because here we are talking not about the personalities that are sharing the values or not, but more of the organization. If in general we as an organization we may violate or keep tied to our values. But thank you very much for your opinion. Anybody else?
Can I add something here about violation of values? So if we are talking about the values, doesn't this slight violation loosen the morality of the organization? Because, okay, this time let us just violate a little. Okay, once you do that, next time you can also apply to that experience. Oh, we have once violated it. Why don't we do that for the sake of good results again and again and again and again? So then can we be the guarantee of all those values that we are promoting?
Yes, I agree with you. We never can tell where's this border of this slightness, whether it's slight violation or whether it's crucial violation. Thank you for your comment, Natalia, very much. And let's continue with one more statement, final one for this part of the session. And
Tina, but
yes.
yeah, excuse me, I think that probably just we will give the opinion how we, what the decision was of our team on that situation. So for our team, that was, we have a saying, God is in small things. So for us, it was crucial that we really like stick to the values, and we decided not to go to Moldova, because just if we are putting the values, if we are promoting them, we should not violate them, and we should promote them in not only like in big projects, but in small practical things as well. And this is how we are working with Leadership Academy. At least we are doing our best to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but just to add that in the end, also we had this kind of the decision doesn't have to be done because the Kosovo girl informed us that she anyway she can't participate in the session because she applied to this camp program in the USA and she would be in the same time in the USA, so she will not come to the session anyway. So in the end, we had the session in Moldova. But seriously, what Olga said, we were ready to move it just because of one participant and not violating our values. Just for you to know that the life is in details.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Yes, it's really important to know. And final statement, and we'll try to go quick in our comments, and it is the following. NGOs, non-governmental organizations, can't be financed from governmental sources as it's a different sector of society. So NGOs can't get money from the government. Do you agree or disagree? Please put your stickers.
Just for the sake of exercise.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's good you all disagree with this statement because it's certainly not correct. And very quickly, we will have a look at the sticker with the items from TAPIC, because there were some people were not clear about how it all works. So you can see there was an exercise where we asked you to tick possible ways of funding for an NGO, and they were as follows: membership fees, sale of goods and services, commercial programs, private donations, and grants. And some people had some concerns whether any of these can be a source of finances for an NGO. And the correct answer is that any of these sources is possible for an NGO. Membership fees, of course, for many organizations, it's one of the basic sources of their finances. They get membership fees for the services they provide, and that's the way of how they stay alive, of how they operate. Sale of goods and services, yes, many of the YMCAs and of other NGOs, they produce some merchandise, some T-shirts and water bottles and whatever not, and they sell them and get their money for their functioning on it. Commercial programs, certainly yes. It is possible for NGOs to run commercial programs. The only thing is that the money they earn should be spent on their goals. It's not divided between the owners of the organization as in businesses, and in NGOs we have no owners, so the profit, nobody gets the profit. It goes to realize the mission and the goals of organization. Private donations, certainly. Once again, many of NGOs, for many of the NGOs, this is the main source of their income. They get private donations and they use them not only on realizing their goals and mission, but also on their operational costs, such as office expenses and salaries and so on. And grants. Yes, of course, you know that grants are the crucial part of the NGO budget, that we all are searching for grants to make our activities possible. So those of you who had some, who was not like clear about this point, about the sources of finances, please be sure that any of the sources are possible for NGOs. It's just important where this money goes. After you get it, where it goes and what it is spent on. And of course, governmental money may also be one of the sources of financing for NGOs. Though some YMCAs are lucky to have good relationships with their governments and get a lot of money from them, but some other YMCAs, they don't have this strong connections with the governments and they don't get any governmental support and any governmental money. But it's great if you have it. It's great if you get support from the government. Okay. Thank
Martina,
you very much.
Can I have
yes, sure.
With this? Because I absolutely understand Olga, who put the sticker on the other side, because there is also a dilemma. Just to add about this a little bit, is that the difference between governmental and non-governmental sector with the finances is that in the governmental sector, in fact, the priorities, mission, and the values of the organization is set by the government. And so they are getting money directly from the government. In the non-governmental sector, the non-governmental organization is setting the mission, vision, values of the organization. And they have usually in civilized countries, they have an opportunity to apply for the grants from the government. They don't have to change their values, mission, and vision, but they have to decide if they accept the opportunities and apply for the grants. So this is absolutely acceptable and it's normal practice. And many YMCAs are using the governmental support for the third sector societies. I understand the dilemma of Olga, because in countries, let's say, with, which are not organized in this system, it may happen that the government uses the grant support from them for their promotion and for their somehow to say purposes. And I can understand that these NGOs may refuse this governmental support if they feel somehow misused or pushed to change their mission, vision, and values because of the government. So in normal world, it's absolutely normal to use governmental money for the projects and grants. But I understand that there may be a dilemma with this in the countries where there is more authoritarian system.
Yeah, thank you, Martina. Exactly. This is about values. If we do not share the values of the government, we do not want to cooperate or take money from them. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Martina, for your comment. And thank you, everybody, for your active participation in this first part of our session. And here we finish this part and stop for a break, which will last how long?
30 minutes. Thank you, Tina, so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's come back in 30 minutes. Please do not leave the Zoom, just switch your cameras and sound off, and that's it.
What the fuck say? What the fuck say? Big blue eyes, pointy nose, chasing mice and digging holes. Tiny paws up the hill. Suddenly you're standing still. Your fur is red, so beautiful, like an angel in disguise. But if you meet a friendly horse, will you communicate by more? How will you speak to that horse? What does the fox say? What the fuck say? What the fuck say? What the fuck say? What does the fuck say? The
back, welcome back, welcome back. Great, and we are so happy to introduce again our dearest colleague and friend, Kie Cummings, who is going to lead the session on needs assessment. I know that Kie is going to introduce himself and tell a little bit more. Thank you so much, Kie, for joining us today for this session.
Sure, thanks so much. Thanks for the invitation. I completely wasn't prepared for that. So I'm very out of breath, so forgive me, everyone. But yeah, when I was listening to the music during break there, I was kind of remembering what it was like to sit in a restaurant. Do you remember when we all could go to restaurants and we could relax and we could spend time with friends and family and stuff? Hopefully soon. So it's nice to see you all anyway online, and it's nice to see human faces without masks too. So that's cool. Anyway, you'll see I'm just about to share my screen. You'll see there's some information there. Can you see that? Yeah, just some general stuff about who I am, who this stranger is that's come along to join your session. So I'm not a complete outsider. I'm kind of YMCA DNA. I've been involved since I was back 15. So you can have a little read through that. If it's interesting to you, it's probably really boring, but nevertheless, I thought it would be useful for you to have a little look. And yeah, you'll see at the bottom there that I live in England. I'm from England, and we're just on the Welsh border. And I've got 3 little girls, and it's guaranteed that they're going to come in at some point with a drawing, or there's had a toilet accident or something. I don't know. It's probably going to happen. So just be prepared for that. Yeah, and it's a sunny day in England. And if you don't believe me, how's that? So it happens once a year. So anyway, let's dive in. So the first thing I want to say is yeah, thanks so much for doing the work on STEPIC. It's quite sort of a heavy subject matter. It's quite a heavy topic. Needs assessment isn't particularly glamorous, but I think it follows on perfectly from Tina's great session there about mission, because it's such a vital aspect of the work that we do. And so we asked you to start with coming up with some visual kind of descriptors about what you might think needs assessment is. And we got some pretty interesting ones on the screen there. Can you guys all see what I can see, the thing? So yeah, I just wondered if I could ask maybe 1 or 2 of you to kind of explain a little bit about what you've put there, because they're all really cool and really interesting. Perhaps I could start by this cassette tape, Natalia. So the order and chaos and know how to act. Do you want to give us a little brief explanation, just a really quick one, about kind of what your thinking was behind that?
I have to write.
No, just speak. Yeah.
Order, because I think when we see the situation and the real life is a chaos, but we need to start to think what is the seal, what is the main point, and the back in order.
Sure. Thank you. I think it's a great visual descriptor, because life is chaos and things aren't easy and smooth, and it's very difficult to work out kind of where to start. So thank you very much for that. Let's jump to this one in the top right. So there's a guy sat there meditating. I think is it Sergey? Could you give us a quick little description about this image? Are you there? No?
Sorry,
Okay.
my mic was off.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, I need to say the comment what I write, yes, or what this picture is meaning.
It's just the meaning of the picture, your idea behind your representation of needs assessment with this image.
If you see on this picture, I saw a young man which sitting on the table, and he's thinking what he could do this time, and what would we like to do to get mental health, to get faithfulness, and to be health in your minds and body. And as we see here is a need to, for example, be free, like drive on the bicycle, be in another place, is not even on the camp, but even in the restaurant or in your friends in the other country. And it's also food you need to eat, and not all people choose or have opportunity to eat meat. Yes, if you know. And the fourth is like to think what else we can. But also we see that it's a free time. It's in Russian. It's mean like meal food. Yes, in the afternoon on a job. So, and I write that we must require an understanding of priorities for all generations after successful or unsuccessful experience. So we see that our experience of a youth and man will be older, and older people not always spend their times on, for example, like be free and riding a bicycle or having a camp, and you must not always have some money to get all of these things. You must to choose. So sometimes we must require a rethinking of our priorities.
Thank you. Thanks very much for that. And you'll see lots of the diagrams have the kind of caption speech bubbles, which is indicating that a lot of this and a lot of your thoughts around a conversation, which we'll come to shortly. But we'll end this little bit with this one here. So somebody's wrote a comment. I'm sorry, I don't know who wrote this, but it says, considering the current situation and what is the desired situation, figuring out ways to reach the desired situation, which I think is quite a good definition. So yeah, so let's jump into the Jamboard. And okay, so one of the questions we asked was about the kind of the what and the why. So we just wanted to kind of, when I was planning the module for you, I thought it would be quite interesting to start off this kind of level and then work down. So what's your understanding about needs assessment? And when I saw the answers coming in, it was immediate that, you know, the level that you guys are at are kind of, you know, you really get this and you really understand it. And I just picked out a few comments there from Stepik. This first one from Tulia, I just underlined. It says the design, implementation and evaluation of projects and programs, and that it's the absolute starting point for most of the work. From Ian, it's about accurately identifying and determining problems, issues or gaps within the area that we're working. Lena, we can't be sure that the actions we're taking or activities we are providing actually help the community, which is a really important aspect. And from Alba, knowing what is working well and what needs to be changed is absolutely crucial. And a needs assessment is done periodically, so it's suggesting that it's a process. It's not something which just occurs and that you tick to say that you've done it, but this is an ongoing process, a part of your organizational planning and strategic planning is part of the identity of your organization. And then Peter offered this very clean, concise sentence, which says that this is the way to be sure that the help we provide is actually required. So this is a really kind of interesting question, which taps into the moral and ethical basis behind why it is that we do the work, and what gives us the right to decide that we should be the kind of the people who should do this. So we want to just dive straight in to this and get you guys talking and into groups to kind of discuss this topic a little bit further. So we start off with this question at the top in yellow: are your programs and activities for everyone all of the time, or for some of the time? So we all know this from experience, that you can't do everything for everyone all of the time. It's just simply not possible. I mean, maybe you disagree. Maybe you feel that your YMCA does do that, and perhaps it does, and perhaps you're doing a mixture of programs which go some way in achieving that. But for this basis, what I've done here is split it down into two project types. So we have a generic project type, which would refer to programs and activities which the staff have planned, weekly sessions and summer camps, things which just happen kind of regularly as part of an ongoing program. And then targeted projects, which are very specific. So they're addressing specific gaps and a particular target kind of group. So young carers or homeless and migrants, etc. Are those two definitions familiar to you? Is that all clear? You can just give a thumbs up or nod your head. Yeah, okay, cool. So let's just dive straight in. We'd like you to be in 3 groups for this, and you'll see there that we have 4 questions that we'd like you to answer and then feedback. So the questions are the same for each group. What are the benefits of each of the approaches? So of generic approaches and targeted approaches, and what are the benefits, but specifically for the young people, for your CSO or NGO or charity, and for the wider community or society as a whole. And then the last question there is, if generic and targeted projects are not needs assessed, what are the risks for both approaches? Okay, so there's a lot in there, so just do what you can. This, it's more important to have a general discussion about these things. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll have one group feedback on each of the questions, I think. So if we can break out the groups, Olga, if that's okay. And
yeah, sure. And how much time are we giving to the groups?
How much time do you want, guys? Do we think 10 minutes is enough? I mean, is that too long? Is it too short? 10 minutes, would that be a good time? I mean, that's what we've planned in the session. So if that's cool with you, then let's do 10 minutes, and then you can shout at me if it hasn't been long enough. Okay. So let's do 10 minutes.
Yeah, so then I'm opening the rooms. Please accept the invitation. This is the new way how we are doing. Now you are invited, but not automatically brought. Ian, you are asked to accept the invitation, if you don't mind. Agnes, are you here, or is it a technical issue?
Ah, good way how to do it.
I see the weather is still good in Tayside, Matthew.
Yeah, it's not changed, funny enough. Although today actually it is sunny, like yourself, so it's a good day here.
Could you let us know, Olya, when everyone is back?
I think
please?
Yes, everyone is back.
Okay, cool, thanks. So could we get one person from each group, just to give a quick sort of summary? Don't worry about covering every point. You know, we're doing this kind of in an informal, conversational kind of way. So just feel free to offer what your group have been discussing. Group 3, let's go for group 3 first, and we'll go backwards.
Yeah, we discussed it's actually so difficult to work in generic approach because it's so wide, and it would be a risk to do not fill the gap and solve the problem because it's so wide and difficult that we need assessment for understand why we do some project, and that's already be kind of our target aim, our target. So in the end of our conversation, like ask themselves, is it possible to have like pure generic and how it's possible to have like pure generic approach? Is it possible at all? Because at the end it's break for some small pieces of generic approach, like could be.
Okay, thank you. Thanks very much. We'll have some comments. Does anyone want to mention anything to that, to respond before we move to group 2? No? Okay. Thank you, Olga. So anyone from group 2? Okay,
I'm actually not quite sure which group I was in.
Probably 2.
Like what the number was.
Okay.
Probably 2. Let's just say that I was in group 2.
Just go for it. Let's say it was 2. Let's say it was 2.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we talked a lot about the advantages and disadvantages of the generic and targeted, and I think one of the good points was that the generic often makes the organization a bit more vibrant and has like a lot of good ops for civil society organization. So if you only have very targeted specific events and activities, it's not certain that people are actually aware of your existence, if that makes sense. Not because everything has to do with the PR work, but it's very important that the local community knows that, for instance, your local Y is active and alive and welcoming. So that's like an informal way of inviting people into the organization. And then after a lot of times, they will be maybe be more willing to join one of your targeted activities.
Cool. Thank you, Adam. That's brilliant. And from group 1?
Was that our group?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I can start, and if I miss some points, the other members can add something to it. But we talked about also the kind of benefits of the generic and targeted, and also kind of maybe some of the disadvantages of those approaches. And for the generic, it was that it could kind of provide some kind of structure and safety if it's something that happens every week, etc., and also kind of be more low barrier and more inclusive than very specific and targeted activities. And I think Ian had some really good points on kind of how the targeted activities could be kind of more negative.
Maybe did I say something? Yeah, I mean, for me, I suppose sometimes like targeted can sometimes come across in the community as not inclusive because it's targeted to maybe a particular demographic or need that is sort of connected to demographic. But then actually, Anisi has said that probably the good thing about that is young people are perhaps more likely to engage in a piece of work that is specific to their needs, which is a good point. But I know, like, for example, we are doing a piece of work at the minute around food poverty with young people, but even like using that language and stuff for young people can sometimes be a bit off-putting. Like how do you know what I mean? So it's a targeted piece of work around particular needs, but you have to be careful how you stigmatize some of those problems amongst the group that you're trying to engage. So there's whereas with generic, it's often a lot easier because it's very open and welcoming and everybody and everybody's feels like maybe on a more level field type thing. So
nice one. Thanks very much for that. I mean, these I was saying in group one, these are the classic YMCA problems that we face. You know, this issue relating to do you provide just spaces that are safe environments and for young people to go to, and then through your training, through your staff team and volunteers who are trained youth workers, that you then kind of organically let projects develop, that you do things based on kind of the will and the needs of the young people at the time, or do you kind of pursue these other areas? And the truth is, there's no answer to this, because everyone's situation is very different. But it's really important that these considerations are made at this needs assessment level, because it really helps you to craft, to shape who you are based on your missions that that you looked at earlier. So who are you going to be? Someone who provides activities for everyone all of the time, or someone who provides activities for some people some of the time, or somewhere in the middle? And it sounds to me like somewhere in the middle is probably the safest place to be, really. Okay, so thanks for that. We'll move on. So this one is from STEPIC. I'll just jump to that now. Yeah, here we are. So if you remember...
you are not sharing the screen so far?
Excuse me. How's that?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks very much. So you remember on STEPIC when you completed this section, we got some great comments there. You can see the good thing about STEPIC is, I mean, do you guys all read each other's comments after you've posted your own? I mean, I suppose if I was you, I would, because then it gives you ideas to answer your own things. So which is quite a good thing. And I think that is a really good thing, because then it helps you to kind of see if you're in the right place or not. And I can see from the answers here that, you know, there are no kind of wrong answers to this. So, you know, it follows on very closely what we've just looked at, but these considerations should be made. You know, one of the questions in needs assessment should be, what if we don't do this? Not just about what if we do it. You know, what is the impact if we don't do this? And there's one other area which I thought about afterwards, and I didn't place on here on this list. It's also about the assessment of you as an individual, you know, as a leader, and in terms of where you are at in your capacity to kind of manage and develop programs, and you know, whether or not your kind of training is at the kind of the right place, the right level, your organization, your staff, your team. You know, these are also considerations to make. So quick group discussion. We can do this as a kind of big screen, if you like. So does every activity that you do involving young people need to be risk assessed? Needs assessed. It should be risk assessed, but does it need to be needs assessed? It's a general question for anyone. If you want to kind of jump in and give us some thoughts, please.
I would say probably not formally, at least, always, but there should be some sense of why you're doing what you're doing and the purpose behind it. And I think at some level it's good to acknowledge that and find a way to articulate that to people. And I know that's something that we do. Like, even like if we are doing a football session, one of our things that we always find ourselves saying is, it's not just about the football session, it's about everything that comes along with that, which for some people they might not be aware of, for some young people they might not necessarily be aware of, but I think at some level it's good to acknowledge that. So yeah.
How do people feel about this, that notion that Ian just mentioned there about having activities just for the sake of having an activity, but in fact, the work is happening through the conversations that you're having within the space that you're providing? What do you think about that as a kind of an approach?
Yeah, I would say that everything is of course a balance, and that's the easy answer to the question. But I think that it's okay to have activities that are not necessarily from need assessments, but it's very important to always keep that in the back of your head. So of course you can make an activity here, just a few bunch of people, volunteers, saying this could be such a fun idea. Then of course do it. But it's really important to keep in the back of your head. If you always have that mentality, at some point you will lose your complete existence. No one would know why you're there because you never do anything that's actually relevant for the community. So that's of course great danger, but yeah, everything's a balance.
Absolutely, and this connects directly to the mission and the identity, your values and your beliefs, and everything is connected. So it's all part of the same thing. Is there anyone sitting here now listening to this and just thinking this is just kind of, it would be such a luxury to have a situation where I could have young people engaging in something which is not targeted in any way? Is there anybody who has work where everything you do is very specific and it has to be done like that because that's how it's funded? Because I'm aware that, internationally, often the idea of just having a space without any kind of real reason is quite it's quite a luxury, really. Is there anybody here who has that experience?
Maybe if I can jump in, looking at my own YMCA, I think we do have that opportunity because we deliver a type of youth work called detached youth work, which is going out into communities where young people are coming together and you're going on their own turf where they are. Rather than them coming to you, you're specifically going to them. But we tend to do that without an agenda. So we go out, we're not going there to deliver a course, we're not going there specifically to promote opportunity. We're going there to build relationship and just see what comes from that. But yeah, like what Ian was saying, there's still reason as to why we're doing that, but there's no specific agenda when we actually go out and do it.
Cool, thank you, Matthew. I think this is, we'll come to this shortly. You touched on something there, which is connected to kind of the ethics and the kind of ethical and moral kind of considerations behind doing the work. It's a question on at what point should you or will you do the work, and we'll come to that very shortly. Would anyone else like to add anything for that question while we're here, or should we move on? Cool. Okay, let's move it. Let's move it on. All right. So we've got this. Oops, sorry. We've got this. What would you call that? It's not a chart. What would you call that? Diagram? I don't know. It is what it is. Infographic? I don't know. But anyway, here it is. Hopefully, it's very kind of self-explanatory. You'll see on the scale here, we've got macro, micro, quantitative, and qualitative. And this is about your methodology and research behind needs assessment. So it's quite a kind of interesting task to ask yourself, where do you place yourself on this scale, relating to what you value the most in terms of your approach to needs assessment. Is this approach based on the kind of wow, that's gone. Oh, that's back again. Is this approach based on facts and figures? Is it supported by statistics? Is it backed up by evidence of numbers? Or is it backed up by stories of people, by conversations, by engaging, by recordings? Are we talking about an individual level? Or are we talking about on a societal or community kind of level? So that's what each element of this diagram kind of means. And I'm very confident that you have got to grips with this because of what I've seen on Stepic. We'll just jump across to that now. Yeah, this section here, and reading some of the comments there, really sort of demonstrate that you've got experience of this kind of thing. So I think it'd be quite interesting for you to jump into this, to create a note, just like you did with the last one in Tina's session, and just plot that wherever you like on the diagram, and we'll have a look to see what happens. Okay, let's go for it.
Yeah, the link is in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. Just resize them a little bit. Thanks. Yes. And be brave as well. Be brave. Don't, you know, with this kind of thing, it's easy to kind of do the sheep thing, you know, and you see where everybody is placing their answers. But just be brave. Go out on a whim, and just place it where you think. Place it where you've had experience, or you haven't had experience. Place where you think it would be more valuable.
Sorry, can I just clarify the question?
Yeah, sure. So generally speaking, when we're approaching kind of research for needs assessment, how are we going to carry out this this research? You would choose a particular pathway. Do you want to base that upon kind of facts and figures, or do you want to base that upon the kind of experience of the people who you are going to be serving directly themselves, or is it a bit of both, or is it only one or the other? Okay, that looks like it's starting to settle a little bit now. Okay, let's freeze it there, shall we? Let's prevent anyone from changing their mind. Okay, Alba, I really like how you put your sticky on a little angle each time that we do this, and that brings my attention to yours. So if I can ask you, Alba, why have you placed your sticky note there, please?
I don't know. I think that we should focus on the quality of things and not on the amount of things. And also I place it up to the macro side instead of down, because I think we have to focus on everything and not in something small. But I'm not really sure about this.
Okay, well, let's see how you feel once we hear from a few more people.
Okay.
And then we'll allow you to change if you like shortly. But let's get some more. Let's hear from Peter. So Peter, yeah, if you could just give us a little kind of brief explanation about your choice there.
Yeah, I was thinking about Adam's and my project, and when we were looking to assess what need we wanted to fulfill, then we used specific statistics on the on the entire Danish youth. So we went for the quantitative method.
And you've got it kind of on the macro side of things.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure about the micro thing. So
yeah, it's insanely confusing for me because I'm a photographer and filmmaker, and in that world, macro means zoomed in, whereas in sociological terms, it means actually the opposite. And micro means zoomed in. So yeah, forgive me for this kind of lack of clarity there with that one. Okay, so let's hear from Gwen, please. Are you there, Gwen? No? Okay. Let's hear from Natalia then, please.
Yeah, I was kind of hesitating between quantitative, qualitative, macro, micro. So I think what is important for my project is the quality, and let it be first the micro scale, and then it can be moved to macro scale.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay.
If it works well, yeah.
Let's see. Nikos, could we have a comment from you, please?
Yeah, of course. I agree with Alba on the qualitative aspect, and also I put it right there because so from what I understand with micro and macro, it's about the where do you look, right? So if you're looking at long-term situations, then you're looking at macro situations, and when you're looking at micro, you're looking at short-term. So I actually think that they're both important, but I'm kind of steering towards macro a little bit, so a project can have like a more how do you go consistent texture towards the future.
Consistent texture, like that. That's nice. So if we just jump back into Stepik there, we don't have to do this now, but just go back in and have a little kind of read of this, the definitions here with the quantitative and the qualitative and micro and macro there. You know, research methodology for anyone who's studied that at university is a whole world of I was going to say a world of pain. It's not necessarily a world of pain, but it's very complex. It's hugely based in kind of, you know, there's a lot of the mathematical things, psychological elements in there as well. And it's a very, very complex area. But I would definitely encourage you to explore that in your practice more. Research methodology is the value and the importance of that is based upon the value and the importance of your success as a project generally. So, you know, and this is what needs assessment is all about. I mean, the true nature of this is ensuring that you are planning to succeed. So essentially that's what all of this is about, really. And Ian, you've plotted yourself right in the center there, which is pretty obvious that perhaps you're feeling that maybe it's a bit of everything.
Probably a little bit idealistic. I think probably sometimes personally apprehensions around quantitative stuff, as in I find sometimes you can get data and figures that can be swayed to whatever point you want to make, because sometimes they have to be interpreted and that sort of thing. So I think too much of one isn't ideal. But obviously then in real world, you're not always going to get that balance right. I heard the term recently talking about like needs assessment is like inch deep, mile wide. And then so you do like a bit of work that is inch deep and mile wide. So it's getting a large volume and it's not very it's kind of more surfacey, and then you go the other way and you go mile deep and inch wide. So it's a real in-depth sort of needs assessment. And I think you do need the balance of both, but I just know like with quantitative and data, maybe then you hear stories, people's personal stories of stuff, and sometimes they don't always match. So there's a bit of conflict between which, but I think if you're hearing people's stories and personal experiences, then you would want to see the data reflect that. And then also like micro, if you just hear one or two people's stories and then make a big needs assessment based on that, it might not translate well into the wider sort of community, and you might have problems there. So probably a bit idealistic, but with reasons.
Great, thank you. Again, you know, you might feel that we're not getting very definite endpoints to these little sections in the session, and that's purposely done because there aren't any definite endpoints. There aren't any kind of specific right and wrong answers for you with this. This is a very kind of this presentation of the kind of some of the methodologies that you might approach and how you might kind of go about thinking about that and structuring it and considering those things. Ultimately, though, you've got to decide, you've got to make decisions. And, you know, you try your best to make decisions based upon the best possible kind of knowledge you have at the time. So we'll just move on now. Thank you for that. And we'll move into this ethical and moral considerations. And in Tina's session earlier, it was kind of alluded to, and I think Ian, you might have mentioned about funding opportunities and kind of the direction of your organization might go in. So, you know, these are important questions to consider. You know, and we don't have to answer this now, but it's just to pose a couple of questions. So, asking yourselves, do funding opportunities become too attractive for you as an organization, and do they pull you in a certain direction? And there was a good discussion about that earlier. And the other question I put there is, are all interventions in young people's lives justified? And perhaps we could very, very quickly answer that one if anyone's willing. So just again, the question is, are all interventions into young people's lives justified? Does anyone want to have a kind of a go at answering that?
I'm not going to have a go at answering it. I'll let other people do it. But I just had this conversation with our staff team on Friday at our staff meeting. So it's great that it's coming up here. So I'm learning a lot as well.
Anyone, are we all kind of clear what's meant by that in terms of kind of in intervention? You know, I suppose really what I mean by that is, you know, anytime that you create some work from your YMCA to kind of work with the young person, is it always justified? Is that always, should you feel like you always have the right to kind of intervene in a young person's life if you've got a really good kind of moral and ethical project? Do you think that you have the right to intervene in their lives? So yeah.
I say, like a father of two young girls, and for me, intervention in young people, it's my daughters, it seems be every day. But as for me, for young people, we must share our opinion. We must share with our I can't find my word. Sorry. So we must also share of our, you know, like we shoes, we do not use it for the first time. Sorry, I have a bad English.
Not at all. Take your time. Take your time. No problem.
Experience, sorry, I forget this word. So we must share with our experience and prepare these young people for how it says, for future. Yes, because not always they achieve their goals or they get what they want, and sometimes they smile, sometimes they cry. So it's in a moral and ethic, we must prepare them for that big world and all dangers in it, and on our experience, showing our experience in our opinion, we must a little bit interventions in their lives. But as for me, it's ethical and moral, like our mission for all the people, to help to mental growth for the young people, children's, and the society, like in the macro view.
Thank you, Sergey. Thank you. Anyone else want to comment there? Please.
May I? I just wanted to share that quite a few years ago, we had a situation in YMCA Russia when actually funding opportunities, they did influence our, like the direction of our development strongly. And like in the beginning, we felt really confused and not very positive about it. But after all, like it did influence our goals and our aims and the overall direction, but it did correspond with the values and mission. So there was no conflict in terms of values and mission, but it was a totally different area of activity that we had never ever did before that. But then we started developing in this area, though the only reason for this development was the funding opportunity that we got. And actually, in a few years, we found out that this was a very important part of our job, and we did it really well, better than many other NGOs. And it actually opened for us a new area that we probably would have never tried if we didn't get this funding. So, and this is quite not a very typical situation, but it happens. But I would like to underline that the main thing that it certainly didn't contradict with our values and mission.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you. And anyone else? No? Okay. So let me just, sorry, I'll just go back just 1 second before we move on to that one. Again, these questions are for things to sit with when you're planning. You know, this is part of your kind of leadership kind of toolbox. You know, there are questions that you have the responsibility for as a leader to ask yourself, to ask your team, to discuss with the young people, with funders. And there are no right or wrong answers. And Matthew, earlier you mentioned about an approach of youth work, which is quite a common thing in the UK, called detached youth work, where youth workers go out on the street. You know, this is a great kind of moral question about why should you do that? Because they are not coming to the YMCA. So they're not coming to a building, they're not coming to a camp or a place. They're not going to attend an activity. And in fact, you're coming to them on a street corner somewhere, or in a subway or something like that. So can anyone offer any thoughts about that? What you think about that in terms of an intervention? Do you think that that's an appropriate thing to do? Do you think that it's kind of a potentially useful thing? What's your thoughts? I'm just going to freeze you out, Matthew, for now, if that's all right. But I'd love to hear from anyone else about this kind of unique situation, please.
Well, I could start. There is a program kind of, I don't know how to say it, if I translate it like directly from Finnish, it's kind of searching youth work, which means kind of, well, I'll start again. So there is this room for young people under 18 that they can go to, that's located like in a mall in our city. And the idea was to get kind of the young people that would like lounge around the mall into that safe space. But obviously if we just open the room here and say, welcome everyone, come to this place, instead of, you know, hanging at the corner, it wouldn't be attractive to young people because they don't know who you are. They don't have no connection to you. So what the workers at my YMCA did first was that they would kind of just go to the young people that would be at the mall or around it and just talk to them, kind of that they got to know these people. And then they would ask like, well, what would you like to have kind of in this room for young people that's only for under 18-year-olds? So like no kind of adults are allowed in there. What would you want? And then that kind of got used as data and implemented in that room. And now that's like one of the more recent projects in our city, but that has been hugely successful because it's a youth kind of room. I don't know how to hang out, what's a proper word for that, but it's like the most popular in our city. Like there are others by other kind of like the church or some other actor, but they're not as popular as this one because it actually kind of like there is like a connection between the young people and the room and kind of the staff there. So I think in that very specific problem, it was really useful because the experience had been that these youth rooms are not popular. Young people don't go there. So I think it depends, I guess, on the issue at hand.
Thank you for that. That's really interesting to hear about that project. It's quite sort of inspiring. You know, it's these kind of initiatives, thinking outside the box, that often lead to kind of, you know, interesting developmental projects as well. Does anyone want to comment on that? Does anyone want to say anything else with this kind of fundamental question? Okay, so Matthew, please. Olga, please.
When we create some, intervention as adults, and we ask like young people, we should understand that it's fully our responsibilities, and also think how we did it in a way to respect in some soft way, and we should also like introduce ourselves, explain how data will use and all that stuff. And it's also about ethical and moral. It's as I see. And that's that you mentioned that's a way just asking on the street. I guess it's could like it could happen, and it's have a like a place, and that's could be, but that person who provides all that process should be very, very polite, very attentive for the borders of other people also. So.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a lot about respect as well for the young people, but and I think you have to be very brave. You have to be very brave and to be able to do that, you know, to be able to take your kind of mission values and then to go somewhere and to kind of not impose them on somebody else, but to kind of offer them to someone else. And as part of that offer, how you do that is very important. So creating spaces is a very good kind of tool and a good way to do that. But oftentimes I've heard some really interesting stories about youth workers and practitioners who might use tactics such as kind of free things, you know, kind of free vouchers or free food or free activities, or you know, and you've got to ask yourself those questions, you know. Is it kind of ethically and morally right to kind of bring people in and to offer your mission, value, core beliefs in a way which you're kind of perhaps it could be misconstrued as being bribery or something, you know? Has anyone had an experience of that kind of approach before, where hopefully maybe not? That's good.
Could I say something about this? Some comment. So when there was no COVID, we used to have some public events like celebrations of some public holidays, and we took part in some games, held some games on behalf of our YMCA, and we collected contacts like phones. So if you want to participate, you can give us our phone, your phones, and we will have some sort of a lottery later to present you with some, I don't know, some ticket for the event we are going to conduct a bit later. Or we also give the certificates for free lessons. We have 11 languages in our center, so we give certificates for free lessons for all the participants of these events, like a kind of promotion initiative, and just to let everybody know what we are doing.
Thank you. Can anyone respond to that? What do you think about that approach generally?
I should add that we are not pushing everybody like give us your phone numbers or we will not let you play. We just offer this opportunity. Like if you want, yes, welcome. We will be really pleased to have you in our games. Like if people want, if we see that they are reacting positively, then yes, we continue communication and so on.
This is it taps into this question about data, you know, and kind of the use of data, the use of information, and data is this quantitative and qualitative kind of question. Data is quite powerful, you know. It means so much in the business world and in the charity or CSO NGO kind of world. Data is also really important because it provides us with evidence, it provides us with numbers and things. So it's an interesting that you bring that up, and it's a really good moment to mention that, because there are ethical and moral questions relating to this. And again, there's no kind of right or wrong answer for that. My personal thought on that would be, then I think that if you plan around that in a sensitive way, that you are very open about what data you collect, why you're collecting it, how long you're going to have the data for, how somebody can opt out, and you follow those kind of data protection kind of procedures, then is it okay? I mean, perhaps you could raise your hands, everyone, if you feel that kind of approach to kind of collecting data is okay. Yeah. And perhaps those who feel that it's not. That wasn't a good survey. Never mind. We'll move on. We'll move on. Okay. Let's jump into this discussion part now. So we are going to split into 3 groups again, please. Group 1, we want you to discuss these kind of moral and ethical dilemmas or questions. Sorry to kind of end on something a bit heavier, but this will end the session once we feedback. So if group 1 can take the top question, group 2 the middle question, and group 3 the bottom one, that would be great. And we've got probably let's have kind of 7 minutes for this one to be really specific.
Yeah, no worries, you will have trainers in the rooms if you forget about the number and the situation. Yes, shall we go to the rooms? Kie?
Let's do it.
Hello.
Please accept the invitation.
Have I accepted?
Yeah, it should appear like you are invited to.
Am I in a room or I'm not in a room?
No, you should accept. Okay, so let me invite you once again, Olga. Remember like this.
Oh, got it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it looks like we're the only ones that are back. Is there anything else that we missed there, Francesco? I know that you had created this question.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Cool. Okay, thank you.
Very good. It was very interesting.
This was too short. We didn't have.
Are we all back?
Yes, we all. Some groups didn't manage to discuss.
No.
Yes, so
I'm so sorry.
But let's hear the main highlights, probably.
Yeah. It's like trying to ask questions that are like United Nations kind of big debate questions and say, right, you've got 7 minutes. Go and solve the problems of the world in 7 minutes. And of course, it's not possible. But again, this session really, it's just about those key questions, ethical, moral statements. No doubt that you explore these every day in your working situations, because this is the kind of lived environment for everyone in Europe now. We all come into contact with each of these things, perhaps not about yurts in far north of Russia, because then you would have to be in Russia in the far north to experience that. But let's go to group one first, and if someone can feedback and offer us some kind of comments on your discussion, that would be brilliant, please.
Okay, guys, sorry, we like didn't have time to give the floor to everyone in the group, but if anyone from the group could just say a few words about the situation and what you take as a good decision. Tole, maybe you will say, if you don't mind.
Me? Who want to speak?
Tole, will you?
Yes.
Yeah, please. Thank you very much.
Start at least. So we talked about the nomadic people living in the north of Russia and about their kind of schooling policies. And I would say that there are obviously logistical and economic issues or economical issues that are hard to solve, but I would say also solvable. But from an ethical point of view, at least from my point of view, there is no question that these people should be allowed to kind of have an education that is respectful of their culture, their language, their own heritage, instead of being kind of turned into something they're not. This, you know, with the indigenous populations all over the world being erased is a big issue, and all indigenous communities and cultures should be preserved. And I think kind of the governments in which these indigenous people are living kind of in the area should take some responsibility in order to kind of protect these cultures. So this is my point of view. If anyone wants to add something.
Thank you very much. So the main idea is to do our best to preserve the culture, though to give an access to education, but to preserve culture.
Thank you. And could we move to group two? I'm sorry not to spend time with this question in responding, but we need to kind of progress through the other ones. So group two, is anyone from group two that would like to kind of give a quick overview of the discussion? I can do that for you if you like. Yeah, it was, yeah, we heard a couple of very interesting stories about kind of different cultures and cultural identities coming together and clashing in ways which are kind of unfortunately happening far too often. And I think part of the discussion was about avoidance of these situations and about creating spaces that tend to build opportunities for positive and common ground, as opposed to opportunities to kind of have conflict. So that there wouldn't ever be a situation that bringing different cultural groups together or doing some cultural work or broaching a subject that would be very difficult without having kind of safety nets around and building a space which is very safe and being very aware of the kind of what you're entering into. And no doubt you'll all have experience. Perhaps you've got youth workers on your team, or perhaps you've got personal experience of times when you might have said something or someone might have said something where, you know, perhaps it's seen as being wrong, particularly now, you know, online and cancel culture and things and words and terminology is used kind of in very kind of concerning ways. So it's really about, again, not getting the answers for everything, but about providing opportunities to build safety in the planning of your programs and in assessing your needs. What do you need from the people to know that they feel safe if you're going to talk to Muslim girls about gender equality? What do you need from them? And they'll tell you, not the other way around. Okay. So group 3, does anyone want to mention anything from group 2 that I missed there? Adam and Gwen have some interesting stories about that. You should ask them about this. And Nikos as well. So, and group 3, please. So is it ethical to impose programs relating to cultural integration of migrants?
Peter, don't you mind to comment a little bit?
I can do. We talked a lot about, especially the language courses, which are in many countries, that we generally don't think you can impose programs on anyone, but maybe language we kind of accept it, because this changes the whole situation and gives you the opportunity to actually understand the country you come to. So that thing we see as a win-win situation. That was kind of it, I think. Summed up.
Cool, thank you. Anyone else want to comment?
And this is difficult to draw a particular line, yeah, when it is ethical and when it ends to be ethical. So we thought that this example of language courses is quite okay. Yeah, so it is quite ethical. But then where is this line? And definitely it's not possible to draw a very clear line and tell, okay, this is this and this is that.
Okay, great. So this has drawn us to the point where we, at this moment, we realize that in YMCA we're very unique across Europe. You know, you look at the other organizations in a similar kind of area, similar sector, and their work is very kind of clearly defined. They work in specific areas with specific groups. And that's actually going back to Tina's session earlier about identity of organizations. That's actually very helpful because it's very clear to think, okay, well, the Scouts do this, or, you know, whoever does this with the homeless. And but with YMCA, it's often very hard to kind of to say in a few words what it is and what it's about. And then on top of that, the complexity for each one of us on the screen right now in our own lived experience is very different to everyone else in their own country and community that we live in. But this should be seen as a great kind of opportunity for you as leaders to really think about this kind of great thing that's behind you, this complex, large organization that's behind you that can kind of support you through those processes. So hopefully, you know, that's been useful for you. Hopefully the module itself has been useful. And once again, thanks so much for the time and the effort that you've put into that. I mean, I'm very genuine about that, because it would be quite easy to kind of cut corners and, you know, but you really wrestled with some of those questions, and you've put full answers, and they have been read and they've been considered in the planning of this session. So I hope that kind of reflects your experience there. And otherwise, thanks very much for your patience and for your time, and good luck with it all. And I hope to see you again at some point. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the day. I might kind of hang around in the background if that's cool, and kind of yeah, watch how things progress. But if anyone has any questions or any thoughts before we kind of wrap things up, then I'd be happy to have a go at answering them. Okay.
Otherwise, thank you, Kai. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I guess that you might be tired, so let's take 5 minutes break, and then please come back for like the final session.
as well. But I think today has been really good, but it's also been quite heavy. A lot of questions, a lot of information that we need to absorb and then review later on. So how about in classic YMCA style, we go back to being little kids again, okay? And we just have fun. So we are going to play a little game that is, I just made it up, so we'll see if this works. We are going to be imaginary wizards, and we are going to share a story with one another, okay? So the way it works is you're going to have an imaginary ball in your hand, and you're going to pass that ball around our room, okay? But when you pass the ball, so for example, if I'm going to be passing the ball to Olga, I need to share a little bit of a story. So I'll start and I'll say something like once upon a time. Then I'll say Olga's name because I'm going to be passing the ball over to her. And I'm going to throw the ball over to Olga, and Olga's going to catch the ball. And then she will continue the story and you say something else. So I started with once upon a time, Olga would say something else, and just repeat that process until we've got a story and we've passed this ball around the room. So that's simple enough. I will try type the story in the chat. So at the end, we've got the story, and then we can maybe have it for reference. But I thought, let's add something else. So when you throw the ball to whoever you're throwing it to, you have to make a noise. So this noise, I've just picked it, is going to be huzzah, okay? So if I throw the ball, I have to make that noise after I've nominated who I am going to be throwing the ball to. Okay, makes sense? Okay, good. I think you guys can tell probably by now that I am a youth worker. So I come up with all these silly games with no real points, but anyway. Okay, so I will start. Let me just get my chat box up. Once upon a time, Sergey, huzzah.
Okay. Once upon a time, we live in the city. It was raining and cloudy. And Shazam to Tulia.
Very good.
Thank you. Once upon a time, we lived in a city. It was rainy and cloudy, but we were still happy. Nikos, phew.
Okay, I will just continue because I don't remember the whole story. At exactly noon, a strange guy approached me, and I give it to Olga. Wow.
And he asks me about my life. To Yen. Oh.
Thank you. And I told him I will pass it to Peter. Huzzah.
And I told him something I didn't know I would say to anyone. And I pass it on to Adam.
Most of my life, I have been a platypus living in the kitchen of my neighbor. And I pass it to Alba.
He made a strange face and ran away from me. And I pass it to Natalia. Pew!
Okay. Thanks. The rest of us let it be. Then the aliens, and I pass it to Nea. Shazam.
Thank you. Then the aliens abducted me, and I pass it to Agnes. Pew.
And they asked me about my life, and I pass it to Gwen. Phew.
Thank you. And they asked about my life, so I told them the same thing as the stranger. And I will pass it to Peter. Phew.
And it bounces off Peter's head and it goes to Jasmine.
They looked at me a bit strangely that they didn't dump me as I thought they would have done. And I'll pass it to Ina.
Thank you. I told him that I wanted to be platypus again. And I pass it to Natalia.
But I was very happy with the alien. And I pass it to Agnes.
And it bounces off Agnes's head and it goes over to Tina.
But I was very happy with the alien and I invited him to go along with me. And I pass it to Olga. Haza.
I catch it. So I invited him to go along with me and to shape the Ireland Adoption Foundation to protect our rights together. And I pass it to Martina. Pew!
The mic.
Sorry, then I woke up and I was laughing loudly.
Okay, I think that's everyone. Wow, well done. My fingers are on fire. I've never typed so fast in my life. Okay, well done, everyone. Hopefully that was just a little bit of fun. And yeah, you can steal that idea if you want to do that with your own groups. Just quickly, I'll try read the story. I didn't capture everybody's thing perfectly, but our story reads: once upon a time, we lived in a city. It was raining and cloudy, but we are still happy. And a strange guy approached me and he asked me about my life. And I told him something I didn't know I would say to anybody. Most of my life, I have been a platypus living in a kitchen in my neighbor's house. He made a strange face and ran away. Then the aliens abducted me. They asked me about my life. So I told them the same thing as the stranger. They looked a bit strange at me. I told them I wanted to be, so it looked a bit strange. I told them I wanted to be a platypus again. But I was very happy with the alien and I invited him to go along with me and to shape the Alien Abduction Foundation. Then I woke up laughing about it all. So there's your story. Well done.
Thank you so much. It looks like we will create a couple of foundations after this session. Okay, we continue actually the fun stuff, and now we are going to recap everything what we were speaking about the project design, and you will work in 3 groups, and it will be the task to complete all tasks, all questions as fast as possible, but of course in a quite qualitative manner. Just each of you will receive the link in Google Drive. Please choose someone who is going to write from the group and complete as fast as possible, and then come back to the main group. Please just make question one by one after another. It will lead you and let's hope you will not only recall project design, but also you will enjoy communication. Okay, you will receive the links in the groups from your leaders.
Agnes, please join the room. Okay, good.
There we go.
Just to check that everybody is in. Good.
Yeah, I think it takes a little bit of time to join the room, I guess, depending on the internet, but
I think she was also frozen, so she may have at least on my screen she was frozen.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
So Olga was very quick.
I just yoo-hoo, congratulations, you're the first
well
ones.
done.
Well done.
So maybe Olga, you can write to the others that they have lost 1 or 2 minutes, then just that's it.
We actually
they're brought back automatically now, I think. No.
We finished 10 minutes ago, but we were just like having fun.
Yeah.
But you deleted, you just deleted excellent input about not eligible costs because someone copied the smart there. No, you are not. You have not deleted. No.
We were watching.
I enjoyed it. Cats and oyster fry and drugs are not eligible. This is cool. Okay, so it looks like you are all back. Yeah, congratulations, group 2 with the name Team Quick. They were the fastest and they have completed everything in a good way, of course, to them. I guess that the group 1 with the name, help me. Was
the name Team 1?
Team 1, yeah, was the second, and you have completed almost everything. Yeah. Group 3 did very well, but a little bit slowly. So, but we really hope you enjoyed it and recalled some information about project design. How did you like it? Did you like it? Great, thank you so much for this work. Do you have any burning questions, something that you didn't understand? Like, okay, we don't know this, that was super difficult, we need to ask. Anything like this? Do you need any comments from our side? Brilliant, thank you. So we are coming to the end of the session, and we are kindly ask you to complete a short poll with the questions about how you felt today, and also then we kindly ask to comment in the chat or just saying how you feel and what are the highlights for you, or what were the difficulties for you today. As far as you voted, please share how you feel. What are you taking from this session? Any highlights, any doubts, questions, difficulties?
Thank you so much for interesting session. I feel a bit tired because a lot of information needs to on the ground and time to reflect. So especially like that part with need assessment and that's philosophical part about not philosophical about the moral and ethical question in need assessment. That's also interesting side of that process. So it's useful.
Yeah, ethical questions about the assessment. Yeah, thank you, Oля.
Thank you.
Yes, Sergey, please put your mic on.
Yeah, sorry, forget it always. It was interesting for me. It was a lot of information which I even need to realize to see new views on the problem, and it's more deeper, like needs assessments that I knew it before, and it was so knowledgeable for me, and even I have not enough English to tell my opinion or even to realize some words, and I must to find in a dictionary, so it's a little bit harder to me to be always like concentrate with in our conversations sometimes. But it's useful and very interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Sergey. Thank you, Gwen, for your comment in the chat. Adam, please go ahead.
Yeah, of course, I really find it great, but I think I also have to be honest in the sense that a lot of my education at the university at the moment in Denmark is online. So I spend a lot of hours in front of the screen, and I can just feel that it's up until here. So it's almost a bit too much for me, even though it's especially great talking to people and not just sitting and listening. But I think I'm also coming to a limit where I think that my time is best spent actually being outside in the real world, feeling like I'm actually doing something instead of just sitting on the computer. But it's really great to talk with you guys.
Yeah, Adam, thank you so much for saying this. Thank you. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Tula, thank you for your message in the chat. So any comments in the chat or? Thank you, Natalia. I'm just keeping the pause to let everyone who wants to speak to do it. If not, I kindly ask you to switch the cameras on for the picture. And if you are ready, let's do it. Smile if you can. If you cannot, do not pretend. Yeah, thank you. And I really appreciate your time and your commitment and the opinions. Thank you so much. Please take care. And you have the information about the dates of the following sessions at your emails. So the dates are set, and you will receive the link to for STEPIC about the summary and evaluation. So we will kindly ask you to complete it quickly, and then you will receive the links on STEPIC for the other topics. Do you have any questions, comments before we say goodbye? Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I need to save a picture. Oh, so many people close their eyes. Oh my God, no. Okay.
We can Photoshop them.
I'm not going to do it.
Take the picture from the previous session. They all look the same.
This is true. Unfortunately, now all pictures look the same. Just boxes, boxes, boxes.
Yeah, but what to do?
But that was funny because I forgot to do the picture on the meeting of the organic governance group. And we are not meeting so often, and it was a pity because there were quite many people on. Let me stop the recording.